introduce some of the colleagues I've been working with on diversity programs, and that includes Jesse Martinez and Yolanda Bisbee, who Jesse is the director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs, and Yolanda Bisbee is the Chief Diversity Officer, University of Idaho. And also from the University of Idaho, we have Dan Ewert, who's the Vice President, Ken Nelson, General Counsel, Blaine Eckler, the Dean of Students, and you already met, but we'll have him stand again, John Winson, the Provost. And the Diversity Director of Washington State University is also here, Maria Dixon, who's helped put together a wonderful program at WSU. There she is. From the city of Moscow, we have Chief of Police, blank, James Fry, back in the corner, keeping watch on them. We want to acknowledge again the mayor and Ken Fonz from the Moscow Human Rights Commission. Are any of the city council people, other ones here? Oh, and Ann, stand up. Catherine Bonzo also in there. You people shouldn't hide in the corner. And from the county, we have our beloved Tom Lamar, who's also director of PCR. If I've forgotten anyone, don't hate me. Is there anyone should be announced? I know we have some people running for office here. If you're running for office, I can't say your name, but you can stand up. The next part of our program is also meaningful and important to all of us, which are the Rosa Parks Human Rights Achievement Awards. I want you to start by looking in your program on the back page, page 1, which gives the list of all of the past recipients. This turns out to be the 25th anniversary of our breakfast, which is really amazing. I think we didn't start giving the awards till 1994, and Stan Thomas, who has passed away, was our first recipient. But I would like all the people who are here who have received community or youth awards to please stand, because we stand on your shoulders. I know Liz Sullivan, we thank you all for the work you've put in. And now, we're going to have some awards for today. The youth awards for me are always very interesting because I kind of know what's going on the community level, but there's such wonderful, amazing things going on that students are doing that I'm not often aware of, and we all need to be aware of. We had so much excitement among the student nominations that we have not one but 4, which sounds like a lot, but you're going to find out why it's important. So will the people who are nominated, I guess it's Leanne, the high school winners.
Hi, I'm Carly Bean.
And I'm Leanne Erickson. We're very pleased to present the Rosa Parks Youth Award to 2 outstanding Moscow High School students. Last year, they co-founded a club to advocate for, support, and educate others on the need for gender equality locally, nationally, and internationally.
The club is called SAGE, Students Advocating for Gender Equality, and the co-founders and now co-presidents are Emma Seckington and Rosemary Adams. Emma, congratulations, and will you please come on stage? Rosemary is out of town at a very exciting interview, but she will hear the news soon enough. I'm sure that it will be posted to Twitter or Instagram in minutes.
At packed club meetings each week, Emma and Rosemary lead thoughtful, in-depth discussions about current issues in gender equality. They really are ahead of their time. They were fighting against sexual harassment long before the topic exploded in national news.
Rosemary and Emma are committed to pursuing gender equality academically as well. As part of their extended learning internships this semester, Emma studied queer women's activism in the latter half of the 20th century, and Rosemary studied how to affect menstrual justice locally, nationally, and globally. These separate topics reflect the work they do together in SAGE.
It was really the collaborative leadership style of Emma and Rosemary that we found especially heartwarming and inspirational. Rather than just delegate to other club members, they asked the members to help them organize projects and events. They thereby foster cooperation among all of the club members, and they help everyone to become co-leaders in the club. Of course, by being co-presidents, they're modeling the spirit of cooperation. We hope this leadership style will catch on. Congratulations, Emma.
University of Idaho winners, and here we have the presenter.
It's my honor to present. I am David Pimentel, professor at University of Idaho College of Law, and my co-nominator, Professor Kate Evans, couldn't be here today because she is out fighting the good fight. She's a professor of immigration law and leads the immigration clinic at University of Idaho, and she's in Boise today meeting with people facing deportation and leading groups of students in fighting those battles. And that's two of the individuals that Kate Evans and I were delighted to join in nominating just two of her many outstanding students who are working on these projects, Andrew Augustine and David Dellier, who again cannot be here because of the work they're doing. Both of them are out of town. David Dellier in particular is working with deportees at the moment. So, but let me just summarize briefly what they did, which is above and beyond what the good students working in this clinic and working on these projects do. With the support of the Mexican consulate, David and Andrew partnered with the Idaho Organizing Project and Andrade Legal to create a comprehensive guide to immigration enforcement in Idaho, the rights of immigrants in that process, and resources to protect their children and their assets in advance of getting arrested, detained, and deported. This guide is available in English, and it has been translated now into Spanish and is made available throughout the Idaho, Oregon, and Washington region, where it's being used in all three states. The guide Andrew and David created walks people through how to find loved ones, how to seek their release, how to authorize the care of their children, how to obtain critical documentation to protect themselves and their children through the immigration process. In addition, they participated in a series of workshops in immigrant communities to explain the contents of the guide to participants through each tool it contained. They worked through the night on many occasions to ensure that the guide was ready for these workshops, followed by long car rides to remote areas to disseminate to the communities in need. And I know that they conducted formal role-playing situations. What do you do when the ICE agents come? What do you say? How do you treat them? How do you respond? Their work is now used by the Mexican Consulate and Idaho Legal Aid Services, along with other community groups in ongoing training and outreach efforts. I can go on and on about the other things that they have done, this being perhaps a signature accomplishment that Andrew Augustine spent his summer representing individuals working with Luis Cortez and representing them. And every time he would win a case, we'd get a photograph of him with his clients who had just won their case in immigration court. It's really moving to see those. David dedicated his summer to the ACLU of Idaho, where he worked on projects related to the constitutional rights of immigrants in the criminal justice system and their access to education, along with documenting the experience of Idahoans in the state courts there. So we have seen Andrew and David model values of inclusion and acceptance over the course of their law school career, helping create a welcoming environment for diverse persons. They're committed to fighting for social justice throughout their legal careers and haven't waited for their legal careers to start to begin the fight, I would note. And demonstrated immense capacity to do so. Immigrant communities and their allies already benefited immensely from their work, and we look forward to the advances in human rights and justice that they're sure to achieve in the future. So, Andrew Augustine and David Delier, here we have one of their classmates here to receive the award in their books. This is Jonathan Schultz, who works with them in the immigration clinic.
So I have to thank David and Andrew for allowing me to be here. These are going to look really good on my desk. But at about 6 o'clock Boise time, David was sending me Facebook messages and emails saying, hey, we really, really need to say some things for some certain people. And so these are things that David and Andrew have sent for me to say. Andrew and David are sorely disappointed to be missing this event. Both of them want all of you to know how much of an honor they feel it is to get this award. Andrew is currently working for several judges in Washington to gain the necessary court experience to be able to put his best foot forward when he enters the legal profession next year, and was unable to make travel arrangements to get here in time. He really wants to continue his work to help others. As for David, as Professor Pimentel said, he is currently in Boise right now working on a deportation defense case. They wanted you to know that they're incredibly honored that they were selected for this award, that it would have been impossible to do without the hard work of other clinic students, the undergraduate language department, and our enormously outstanding clinical professor, Kate Evans. Without Professor Evans' hard work for immigration issues, we would not be seeing the opportunities that we have had this year as a clinic. And without the dedicated work of fellow clinic students volunteering to take large and important cases, David and Andrew would not have had the time last semester to do the work that they did. Because of the opportunities afforded them by their fellow students and professor, they were able to join with Andrade Legal, Idaho Organizing Project, and Mexican Consulate to work on a large project to provide information about immigrants and their rights under current laws and the Constitution to help protect themselves and their families, as Professor Pimentel described. It's important, they feel, that we inform all people in our country of what their rights are, especially people that are unfamiliar with American culture and laws. Andrew and David will also like to take this chance to thank another professor that has always pushed them to do their best and helped teach them the importance of working hard to hold strong to their beliefs, Professor Pimentel. One more group that they have to thank is the undergraduate language department, specifically the Spanish department. The professors and students did such great work translating their guide into Spanish in an incredibly short time with high accuracy, and they need to be recognized. Finally, they want to thank the entire clinic, the University of Idaho College of Law, the people here today that are constantly working to help those around them, and all of the great people that prove that this work is important to continue doing. Thank you on their behalf.